Welcome to the big one. Now, 4 out of the 17 presidential candidates have qualified to contest the 2016 presidential elections. The qualified presidential candidates are Nana Akufo-Addo of the NPP, President John Dramani Mahama of the NDC, Ivor Greenstreet of the CPP, and Joseph Osei Yeboah, an independent candidate. Here's a story by Jonathan Adams.
The Commission disqualified Dr. Hassan Ayariga of the APC, Dr. Edward Nasigri Mahama of PNC, Dr. Nana Ajenim Boateng of United Front Party, Kofi Akpalu of Independent People's Party, Kwabna Ejay of Reform Patriotic Democrat, and Dr. Papa Kwesi Indum of Progressive People's Party. The rest disqualified were Dr. Henry Latte, Great Consolidated Popular Party, Richard Nixon Tete, United Development Systems Party, Nana Kunedu Ajman Rawlings of National Democratic Party, Thomas Ward Brew of Democratic People's Party, Alfred Kwame Asiedu Walker, Independent Candidate, Ikia Donko, Ghana Freedom Party, and Akwesi Adai Odike, United Progressive Party. The Commission says the candidates were disqualified because the nomination form were not properly signed by the candidate. The statutory declaration is not properly executed. The Commission also indicates that the aspirants' filing fees were not presented in the requested amount and less than 2 registered voters per district signed the nomination forms. In some cases, the Commission added that the nomination forms were not properly signed by all the subscribing voters and the candidates or the designated Vice President nominee does not meet the legal requirements of the said office.
Now, the key criteria for presidential candidates to meet are that the forms you submit must be signed by the candidate. The forms must also be signed by a total of 432 registered voters across the country, because you need 2 voters to sign in every administrative district.
Only 4 presidential candidates have qualified to contest this year's elections.
These are the nominations that have been accepted by the Electoral Commission as meeting the requirements of the law, and we'll announce it in the order in which their submissions were received. Nana Addo Akufo-Addo of the New Patriotic Party, John Dramani Mahama of the National Democratic Congress, Ivor Greenstreet of the Convention People's Party, and Mr. Jacob Osei Yeboah, an independent candidate.
And 4 disqualified political parties have accused the Electoral Commission of a grand scheme to disqualify them. The PPP, IPP and DPP have promised they will drag the Electoral Commission to court over what they described as unmerited disqualification.
On what basis is the Electoral Commission disqualifying Dr. Kwesi Indum when you have not told us that this thing was wrong, come and correct it? So the EC should read its law properly. It is when you give the notice and the candidate is not able to come and do the correction within 7 days, then the Commission takes a decision. The Commission cannot take the nomination period and say we are going to vet it within 7 days. They misread the law. As we speak, the basis is that we did not subscribe to our form properly. But I'm saying that there is a responsibility on the EC to notify you when there is a problem on your form. You don't refuse to do that and come and tell us that your form had a problem and therefore you have been disqualified. That's not the position of the law.
We didn't hear anything from them until today. And then they call us to announcing it on air that they disqualify because somebody signed for my party and went to sign for another party. Who am I to know?
You cross-check.
How would I come to Kwesi Indum and ask Kwesi Indum, please, can you give me your form for me to go through your form to know who and who have signed for you if they haven't signed for me?
What's your next line of action?
Oh, we'll go to court.
And still on the EC's decision, the Secretary General of the National Democratic Party, Mohammed Frimpong, says the NDP is disgusted at the disqualification of the party from taking part in the December 7 presidential elections. He claims the action of the Electoral Commission violates Section 9 of CI 94, which obligates the EC to give candidates opportunity to verify any anomaly in the registration process.
The NDP is disgusted at the purported disqualification of our party in an atmosphere of ever-increasing controversial electoral process into the 2016 polls. According to the EC, one subscriber on page 89 of the NDP presidential nomination forms is not a validly registered voter and illegally registered twice and is on the exclusion lists of multiple voters. The NDP, and for that matter any political party, is not equipped with any other means of determining which voter is on the EC exclusion lists as an illegally multiple voter. We in the NDP duly relied on the EC's documents with all our member subscribers for endorsement of our presidential nomination forms by 2 persons in each of 216 districts. From all the conduct of the EC for the 2016 polls, it is very clear that it is lending itself to the perpetration of repressive oligarchy seeking to exclude political competition. Undoubtedly, the EC has lined up a dangerous arsenal from its astronomical filing fees to illegalities to serve as a limitation to the unfettered choice of popular representation of the people. The NDP therefore calls on the nation to rise to stop our nation from falling into governance roguery and repression.
Right, so let's get onto the telephone lines now and speak with Dr. Edward Brenya, who is with the Department of History and Political Studies at KNUST. Good evening, sir, and thank you very much. I know that I spoke to you earlier this evening on radio, and you held the view that the Electoral Commission was in order to implement the law to the latter. But do you still feel, a couple of hours after the news broke, that the Commission is on track and that this will not cause any problems within our political discourse?
Absolutely. I still believe that the Electoral Commission is on track, that they are implementing exactly what the laws of the Electoral Commission says, that it is the political parties that has actually pushed the Electoral Commission to implement the law through the various lawsuits that the Electoral Commission was made to go through with regard to the way it is discharging its duties. Therefore, the Electoral Commission had to make sure that the law works, and this is the result of actually implementing the law.
Now, some of the candidates, including PPP's Dr. Papakwesi Ndiom and APC's Hassan Ayariga, DPP's Award Brew, and PNC's Dr. Edward Mahama, have contested presidential elections in the past. Should they have known better, or you would say that this is an indictment on their parties and staff?
I think they should have known better, and at the same time, yes, we can blame the parties administrative staff. But this is it. I mean, we heard Apollo saying that in the past, when they submitted their nomination forms during the time that Dr. Afarijan was there, that the staff would take them to. That is their discretion. That is a service that they choose to do. The right thing is that it's embedded on the the political party to make sure that all requirements for nominations are met. And if they didn't do that, and the new electoral commissioner feels that, yes, this is your responsibility, I'm not going to take it upon myself, I'm going to make sure that we have met all the requirements so that I accept it. And if by doing that, this political party falls short, you can't blame the electoral commission. It is their responsibility, and I think that this presidential candidates and parties should have known better. They should have done their homework. They should have looked at all the requirements so that they wouldn't have met what they have done. So now they have to be blamed. They have to be blamed.
Yes, carry on, sir.
I'm sorry?
Right, you're speaking, and I wanted you to continue.
Yes, I just said that it is the political party has to be blamed, and not the electoral commission.
Now, seeing that the this has happened, especially if we look back at the fact that Dr. Farijan was, I could say, lenient in allowing political parties to come back and correct all errors in their forms. Would you say that the EC is trying to send too much of a strong signal to Ghanaians?
I don't think it's too much. I just said that the political parties are getting exactly what they want from the EC. In many of the lawsuits that they brought against the Electoral Commission, they could have sat down with them to have a sort of dialogue or a sort of negotiation. They decided to go to court. They decided to make the rule of law work, and that is exactly what the Electoral Commission is telling them. That yes, we understand that the rule of law has to work, and this is what it means when we apply the rules.
Right, Dr. Edward Brenya, we're grateful for your time. Dr. Edward Brenya is a senior political science lecturer at the Department of History and Political Science at KNUST. Now, if you've just joined us, this is News at 10. We're live from our studios here in Accra. The Electoral Commission has disqualified some 12 or so candidates going into these elections, with one candidate ongoing. Odike is his application is on hold currently, awaiting determination. So this is News at 10.